Hi again. We're in Samuel Andrews, which is the book Christianity and Anti-Christianity in Their Modern Conflict. And we're in the chapter Tendencies of Modern Science. This is page 192. The bearing of our enlarged knowledge of the universe upon our faith as to the place given in the scriptures to the earth and to man, and particularly to the fact of the Incarnation. The opening sentence of the Bible is sublime in its brevity. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Nothing more is said of the formation of the heavens except incidentally, but that the Hebrew prophets and poets had noble conceptions of the greatness and of the fixed order of the universe is abundantly evident. The formation of the earth is given in some detail. Its importance, however, is not physical but moral. It is the one among the worlds chosen by God to be the place of events which affect in their results all intelligent creatures, and so are of universal significance. It is the moral center of all worlds, because God has manifested here his moral character as nowhere else in the universe. If the early generations of men, in their astronomical ignorance, made it the physical center, this does not affect its real importance, which is in no way dependent upon material greatness. If then the recent revelations of astronomy show us the vastness of creation, the countless number and almost meaningless size, measureless size of its suns, making the earth in comparison to be most insignificant, this is in itself no sufficient ground for rejecting the statements of the Bible as to the great events which have taken place upon it. It is well for us to remember that in our own solar system, the mighty sun has value only as ministering to the needs of those who dwell in the small and dark planets around it. And of these, it is most probable that only our own is inhabited by intelligent and moral beings. And only the same value seems to belong to all the vastly larger suns which shine in space. The greater is for the less, the sun for the planet for man. The physical size, that is the physical, exists only for the moral. It's a good lesson that needs to be learned in the light of modern astronomy, of course, which has made the universe far vaster still. But this is written, by the way, around the turn of the last century. Accepting the truth taught in the scriptures that it was the purpose of God in creation to reveal himself through the incarnation of his Son in some form of creature being, this revelation must be not only at some time, but also in some place. If the nature to be assumed by his Son is that of man, the inhabitant of the earth, here he must be born and live and die. Viewed in the light of his incarnation as taking place here, the physical greatness of our orb has nothing to do with its real importance. The relative smallness of the earth may rather give us the reason for its choice, since for the purpose of human trial and redemption, a world where all the inhabitants may be brought into near intercourse, the gospel preached to all, the church gathered from all, and a system of worship established for all, may better answer the divine intent than one as large as our own sun, or as, say, Sirius. But without doubt the material insignificance of the earth leads not a few to question whether anything that has taken place upon it can be a matter of real importance to the rest of the universe. As to the place of man in the divine economy, the question is asked, why should it be the human nature which the Son of God assumes? It is easier, many say, to believe that it was the ignorance and conceit of the Hebrew writers, not the Spirit of God, which declares the whole universe to be interested through the Incarnation in the destiny of man. But one who believes that the Son of God was born here upon our earth will have no difficulty in believing that humanity was constituted at the first for the very end of its assumption by him, and that, therefore, man holds the highest place in the order of intelligent beings. The earth is the place where the Word was made flesh and lived and died, and to which he is to return, is the moral center of all the worlds. We may not infer from its physical insignificance that the Incarnation, as taking place upon it, was of little moment, but rather the religious importance of the earth is chosen to be the theater of that event in view of which all worlds were made. We may, in the choice of this orb, see the first example of that principle of election so often afterward exhibited in the divine actings. The earth was chosen from among all orbs, man from among all intelligent beings, the Jews from among the peoples, the tribe of Judah from among the tribes, the family of David from among the families, Mary from among all the royal daughters, the little city of Bethlehem from among all the cities. In all this there is nothing derogatory to the greatness of God. However vast the universe, all the creatures in it must come under the limitations of time and space, and he deals with them as under these limitations. If, as has been said, we put away from the universe a creator and a purpose, it can have no meaning for us, no intelligible history. So is it with our own earth, which is so small a part of the great whole. It may be said that we do know a progress here in the past, and may legitimately infer a progress in the future. A passing from a lower to a higher condition is taught to us by geology, and biology assures us that from lowest beginnings man, with his wonderful capacities, has come. We may therefore rightly conclude that the earth will be better and better fitted for man's habitation, and he himself rise higher and higher in the scale of being. Having this testimony of experience, we may look forward with confidence to the future, and expect a steady and continuous progress of humanity. It is not to be questioned that evolution, as thus presented, has great power over many. Here they say we are building upon facts, we are dealing with realities. It is better to rest upon the certainties of science than upon the uncertainties of revelation. Nature herself tells us of a great and glorious future for man, and this should fill us with courage and hope. But this reasoning will not bear examination. The earth cannot be separated from the rest of the universe and be put under a law of its own. It moves on in the general movement. As a part of the great whole, it is under the law of perpetual change. Its present phase is simply the last of the numberless ones through which it has passed. How long will the present phase continue? How will it end? No one can say that the lifeless and desolate moon may not be a prophetic type of the earth's history. At what stage of the endless process we now are, science cannot tell us. But seen in the light of God's purpose in his Son, we have the assurance of a future for the earth most glorious, and of which we know no end. In the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit on the throne of his glory, it shall be made new. It will be known and reverenced forever as the birthplace of the Lord of all, and the place of his triumph over sin and death, a place most holy. More to come in this chapter, Tendencies of Modern Science. I'll put in a link this time to basic books on prophecy, and I'll also put in a link to our Kingdom playlist, which has grown to many dozens, I think over 100 by now. See you next time.